Let me tell you about the moment I stopped thinking like a trader and started thinking like a business. It was the day I stopped running one fund account and decided to run 10. Most people think the hard part of the game is passing the first challenge or getting that first payout, and those matter, but the real leap, the one that changed the entire scale of what I do, was the decision to stop treating this like one account I was protecting and start treating it like a portfolio I was building. 8 years in now, over $2 million in payouts across about 1,000 individual ones. And almost none of that came from one big account doing something special. It came from many accounts, each doing something small and boring all at the same time. In this video, I want to walk you through that leap, where I was when I was stuck on one account, the fear that kept me there longer than it should have, the exact moment I decided to scale, and the lesson underneath all of it, which is that the thing that let me scale was not talent, it was discipline, the same boring discipline, just repeated across more accounts. If you are sitting on one fund account right now getting paid but wondering how the people at the top actually make real money from this video is the answer. So let me walk you through it. Let me take you back to where I was right after that first big payout. I had one fund account, it was working, I was taking regular payouts. The strategy was really solid, the discipline was there, and for the first time in my career I was making real money from trading. And I stayed exactly there for longer than I should have. Because here is what happens when you finally get something working after years of struggle. You become protective of it, almost too protective. That one account represented everything. All those years of failing, all the doubt, all the strategy that did not work, and now I finally had one thing that did. So the idea of doing anything that might risk it felt absolutely insane. I had this voice in my head saying, do not get greedy. You finally have something that works. Do not mess it up by trying to do too much. Just keep running this one account and be grateful. And that voice is not entirely wrong. Greed does kill traders. But what I did not understand at the time is that there is a difference between greed and scale. Greed is taking more risk on the same account to make more money faster. Scale is taking the exact same low risk and simply repeating it across more accounts. One of those blows you up. The other one is how every serious trader in this space actually builds wealth from trading. But I could not see that yet. So I sat on one account taking my payouts, telling myself I was just being disciplined, when really I was just being scared. And there is a big difference between the two, even though they can look identical from the outside. The shift came from a really simple piece of math. One day I actually sat down and worked out what my single account was producing per month. A solid, consistent number, boring, repeatable. And then I asked myself a question that I had been avoiding. If this account makes this much every month running this exact strategy at this exact risk, what happens if I run the same thing on 10 accounts at once? And the answer was quite obvious the moment I let myself look at it. 10 times the output, with the same strategy, same risk per trade, same sell-ups. The only thing that changes is the number of accounts the trades are copied across. I was not taking more risk. That is the part that took me a while to understand. Running 10 accounts with the same small risk on each is not 10 times more dangerous than running one. The risk per trade is identical. I was just multiplying the result of discipline that I already had. And that reframe is everything, because for months I had been thinking of scaling as getting greedy, as taking on more risk, as threatening the thing that worked. But scaling correctly is the opposite of risk. It is taking the safest thing that you do, your small, boring, consistent edge, and simply doing more of it at the same time. The moment I saw that clearly, the fear broke. I was not gambling with my one good account. I was taking the exact discipline that built it and applying it across a portfolio. Nothing about how I traded each account will change at all. So I made a decision. I stopped running one account and I started building toward 10 accounts. Now here's the part I really want you to understand, because this is where most people think they need something they do not actually need. When I decided to scale to multiple accounts, I did not learn anything new. I did not find a better strategy. I did not get a new edge. I did not discover some secret that the one account version of me did not have. I took the exact same approach I was already running and I copied it across more accounts. That is it. This is the thing nobody tells you about scaling in this game. It is not a skill problem, it is a discipline problem. The hard part was having the discipline to run the same boring strategy 10 times without getting clever, without sizing one up because I felt good that day, without breaking the rules on one because I wanted to catch up. Talent does not scale, but discipline does. A talented trader who relies on feel and instinct cannot run 20 accounts because feel does not copy. But a disciplined trader running a mechanical, repeatable process can run as many accounts as they want because discipline copies perfectly. Every account gets the same rules, the same risk, the same setups, the same daily stop. Nothing depends on how I am feeling or whether I am reading the market perfectly that day. This is why I always tell people the discipline you build on one account is the most valuable thing you own. Not because of what it does for that one account, because it is the only thing that scales. The trader who masters boring, repeatable execution on one account holds the key to running 100. The trader who relies on talent and feel is stuck at one account forever, no matter how good they are. I was not a better trader when I scaled up, I was just the same trader but repeated. So I started adding accounts, and I want to be honest about how that actually went because it was not instant. I did not jump from one account to 10 overnight. I added them in stages. I would pass a few more challenges, get them funded and bring them online alongside what I already had. Each time I added accounts, I watched closely to make sure I could maintain the exact same discipline across all of them. The moment it felt like quality was slipping, I would pause and stabilize before adding more. And the discipline held because the process was mechanical. It did not matter whether I was running 3 accounts or 13 accounts. The trades were the same. I would identify my setup, take it across every account at the same small risk, manage them all identically and hit my daily stop on all of them at once. It was not 10 times the work, it was just the same work but copied. Within a stretch of months, I had built up to running a real portfolio of accounts, all funded, all trading the same strategy, all on a slightly staggered payout cycle so that money was coming in consistently rather than all at once. And that's when the income transformed, not because I had gotten better at trading. I had not. My win rate was the same, my strategy was the same, my risk was exactly the same. The only thing that changed was that I had multiplied a working process across many accounts instead of guarding it on one. And that is when it really hit me that this was a business and not just a trade. A single account is a job you are doing. A portfolio of accounts running the same discipline process is a machine you have built, and the machine does not care how talented you are on any given day. It only cares whether you execute the same way every time, which by that point I could do in my sleep. Now let me tell you what I would say to you if you are sitting on one account right now wondering when to make this leap. The first thing is this: do not confuse fear with discipline. I lost months telling myself I was being smart by guarding my one account when really I was just scared to grow. If your strategy works on one account at a low risk, running it on more accounts at the same low risk is not greedy, it is just scaling up. Learn to tell the difference because they feel identical from the inside and they lead completely different lives. The second thing, do not wait until you feel ready because you never will. There is no moment where running multiple accounts suddenly feels safe. The confidence comes from doing it in stages, watching your discipline hold and proving to yourself that the process copies. Add a few accounts. Confirm you can maintain quality. Add a few more accounts. The readiness is built by doing and not by waiting. The third thing, and this is the big one, stop trying to become a more talented trader and start becoming a more disciplined one. Talent feels good, it feels like the answer, but talent is a ceiling because it does not copy. Discipline is the floor that lets you build as high as you want because it scales perfectly. Every hour you spend making your process more mechanical and more repeatable is worth more than any hour you spend trying to get a better feel for the market. The traders at the top of the game are almost never the most talented. They are the most disciplined. They found the boring edge, they made it completely mechanical, and then they repeated it across more accounts than the talented traders could ever manage. And that is the whole secret. There is nothing else hiding behind it. So to bring this all together, the leap from one account to a portfolio was the single biggest change in the scale of my income. Bigger than the first payout, bigger than passing my first challenge. And it did not come from a new strategy or new edge or some new level of skill. It came from a reframe. The realization that scaling correctly is not greed and is not extra risk. It is taking the same small boring discipline process you already run and repeating it across more accounts at the same low risk. Again, talent does not scale, but discipline does. The trader who relies on feel is stuck at one account forever. The trader who builds a mechanical, repeatable process can run as many as they want because discipline copies perfectly and feel never will. If you are on one account right now getting paid, wondering how the people at the top actually make real money, this is the answer. They are not better than you at reading a chart. They build a process disciplined enough to copy and then they copied it, and that is it. So master the boring version first. Build the process so mechanical that you could run it in your sleep. And then in stages, start running it across more accounts. Not with more risk, with the same risk, just more times. That is how a job becomes a business. That is how one payout becomes a steady income. And that is the leap that is sitting right in front of you the moment you stop guarding what works and start repeating it. Your one account proved you can do this. The portfolio is just proof, multiplied. If you want guidance and accountability to build the process discipline enough to scale up, I have a mentorship called the Profit Blueprint for traders who are ready to stop guarding one account and start building a real portfolio and make real money. The link is in the description if you want to apply. And if you are looking for a platform to scale on, I recommend Hola Prime. They have the fastest payouts in the industry with zero payout denial policy. You can also use the link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this one, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.